Have you ever asked yourself, how does my body compensate after a low blood pressure? Well, stick around to find out. My name is Tribe Nursing. I make all types of nursing content related to pathophysiology, pharmacology, and I even provide study tips. And with all that being said, let's get started. Your body uses a system known as the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, aka RAS. And this is how it works. Your body will indicate a low blood pressure. This can be due to many types of things, such as a motor vehicle crash, your patient is bleeding out, a disease process, or some type of hormonal change. Your body will use a system known as negative feedback, and what your body will do is that it will send a signal to your kidneys using that negative feedback system. It's like a loop where your body will send a message to your kidneys, and your kidneys will confirm it by sending a message back. What that will do is send out a hormone known as renin. Renin is considered to be a messenger. So your kidneys will send out a message using renin. Renin is then sent to the liver, also using the negative feedback system. The liver will then create a hormone known as angiotensinogen. The last three letters of angiotensinogen is GEN, and it's known to generate another product, and that product is known as angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1 is actually the body's main vasoconstrictor, and is actually considered to be the strongest vasoconstrictor within the body. So now that your body has generated a new product known as angiotensin 1, angiotensin 1, using the enzyme ACE that is within the lungs, creates a new product known as angiotensin 2. So angiotensin 1 is converted with the enzyme ACE to produce angiotensin 2. So let's put a pause here for one moment. You have noticed that your body has used a few different organs to help regulate your patient's blood pressure. And those organs that were used within this process, known as RAS, is the kidneys, the liver, and the lungs. And this all works by using a negative feedback system. So it's one message sent to an organ, that message is sent to another organ, and that's how your body communicates with one another. So now we have angiotensin 2. Angiotensin 2 is very interesting. For the main purpose is that it's going to do two main processes. It's going to use the adrenal cortex to increase the blood pressure, and then it's also going to vasoconstrict the vessels to increase your blood pressure. So let's start with the adrenal cortex. How does that work? Well, your adrenal cortex, after angiotensin 2 sends a message to your adrenal cortex, it's going to send out a mineralocorticoid known as aldosterone. Aldosterone, its main function is to reabsorb water and sodium back into the cell to increase the volume. Now think of it as a balloon. As you fill up a balloon, the pressure increases. Now, what that does is that it's going to increase your blood pressure. So imagine sodium and water entering inside of a cell, and what that's going to do is going to increase the pressure like a balloon. And so it's bringing more volume into the cell to increase the pressure. Now, angiotensin 2 also can produce vasoconstriction. It's going to literally clamp on your vessels to increase your pressure. So this is the way your body compensates for a low blood pressure. Now this is great. If your patient's blood pressure is low, this is the way your body fixes it. Overall, over time, it can be an issue. The reason why it can be an issue is because aldosterone that we have discussed over here can perform a few insufficient functions. It's great, but not so great. What it does is that it can increase the vascular thickening of your vessels. And what that can do is that it will overall overbear the heart, meaning the heart is going to be overcompensated, and the heart is like a muscle. The heart is just another muscle within your body. So if it's being overused over time, it's going to get tired, and that can lead to myocardial hypertrophy. It's like working out your biceps. The more you work out your biceps, the bigger it's going to get. So think of that as your heart function. The heart is the muscle, it's going to get bigger and bigger, and over time it's going to get tired, and that leads to a complication known as congestive heart failure. Well, now you may ask yourself, when will RAS stop? Well, it's going to stop when sufficient venous return has gone through your heart valves and into the lungs, and your cardiac output is at a normal. Normal cardiac output is 4 to 8. So it needs to be within that limit in order for RAS to be deactivated. Thank you all for joining me today. If you are new here, make sure to hit this like button down below so I can keep on producing these types of videos. And if you are new, make sure to subscribe. And with all that being said, thank you for watching, and make sure to share this video with your friends. Thank you again. Peace.